Assalamu alaikum, everybody, and welcome to TSF Reviews. Today, we are reviewing the newly released A Quiet Place 2, directed by John Krasinski. And I believe almost all of you would have seen the first installment. So, this sequel follows up, and it has little bit like hardly like 10-15 minutes of a prequel to the first movie. And then, of course, the sequel follows, and you know, but I think it was a very, very good watch. Junaid, what do you think?
It was actually. When I heard about the prequel, I thought maybe because I don't see a sense in going forward with the movie because we see probably an end in the first one when they ended it
True.
because they have the weapon now and they know how to kill those things. So it was a good movie though.
Yeah, and even though like after the first one, even though when you think that there's not much left to do, they of course bring in the idea that has been explored, I think, in almost all of the dystopian Earth or zombie apocalypse movies, where there is a civilization. I mean, I think I have seen this in I Am Legend, where the concept is like there's something hidden. You're in a civilization which is not untouched by the
We
zombies and
do we
everything.
do we do have an we do have a part in the first movie where they show that there are other people out there because John's character, which is Lee in this.
Hmm.
So when he goes to his roof and there, he blows the torch, in which I believe his daughter does in this movie. So when he does that, there are two or three houses which do the same. So
Yeah,
which makes us realize that there are people out there. So I think they
yeah,
they went with the concept of that.
yeah. But I think they took it a little bit from I Am Legend because of the whole radio transmission. Because that's exactly what was happening. I mean, in a reverse sort of way, when they pick up, when those two kids, they pick up the transmission in I Am Legend, actually, of Will Smith, you know, Will Smith's character. So I think it was a similar concept, but only in a bit reverse. So they hear music, which I kind of liked it because again, there's no voice going out like, "Hey, this is the place. Come here, get us," or something. Because in case of course, these aliens, if they have some level of intelligence, which I don't think so, but again, you can never be too careful. And then there is a song, and Emily sort of, she decodes the message and then figures out that okay, there could be something. But what I was really surprised at was Cillian Murphy's character being introduced there. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay,
hats off.
hats off to him. Like honestly, the depth and the gravitas he brings to the character. Like even though you don't know about him much, only get like 5 to 10 minutes of him in the prequel, or even lesser than that, and then
Yeah,
cut to this.
we just know that he's a friend of the family. That's it. That's what Evelyn mentioned also in the movie when they find him.
Yeah,
That you were out there, you could have reached out to us. We were fighting them alone and this and that. But it his character was like truly built. Other than that, other than his character, Digimon. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name. It's Timon or Digimon.
Hmm.
His character was good as well. He's
Yeah.
playing
We
the
we never
man on
got
the
a
island.
name. Yeah, Man of the
Yeah,
Island. We never got a name of that
he never
guy.
got a
Poor,
name. Yeah.
poor dude. I almost thought he was gonna say, hold this coffee mug and say my name, Shazam."
Yeah.
Well, it was fun. It was fun. But I really liked how this movie sort of created an atmosphere. I wouldn't say it was like the jump scares were like, jump scares of the monsters, but like it's like, environmental jump scares. Like, oh, okay, this is exactly how you would be scared in an environment like this. Especially when Emily is going, towards that signal, and she goes into the train compartment to get that first aid box, and the crows fly out. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
my
yeah.
sister was right there, and my sister had like her fingers in her ears. She was like, something's gonna happen, something, and I'm like, oh my god, it was amazing. What
It
was
was
the most
good.
interesting moment for you though?
Interesting moment was the part where they found out. Well, Murphy found out. Emmett is his name in the movie. So Emmett
Yeah,
found out that they're scared of water. That was the most interesting scene because now they have two ways to kill them.
I would say
And
it wasn't like it was scared of water. It's like they can't swim.
I
It's
mean,
hard for them to swim.
so they're safe in the water. That's the bottom line, right?
In a manner of speaking, yes. But what disturbed me was like there were other people on that island when they reached the docks. So there are other people who are on that island, and I didn't get it. Like, what was their end goal? Were they just like those thieves? They're just looking to get just steal stuff and everything. So like I didn't get their importance in there.
Well, I have a line written for that
Hmm.
specific people.
Okay.
I'm not going to pronounce the uncensored line,
Okay.
but what I've written is where TF did those Jesus-looking MFs come from? And that's exactly the reaction which we got.
Oh, that's
I mean,
true. I
that's
mean,
the reaction.
where was these guys before in the first movie? There was no hint of any other civilization being there.
Yeah, and even in the start of the second movie, they even showed that even Makkah had like evacuated, and everyone's evacuated around the world, and there is no one in the world, and they're trying to
Exactly.
ping them in the first movie as well. And now all of a sudden, there's a whole village of them chilling and
Exactly.
eating barbecue and making all the noise in the world.
My point exactly. And what was even more interesting is that they were celebrating, and it made so much sense. Like that the whole island thing, because of course they're cut off from the mainland, and of course the U.S. Coast Guard was actually providing them aid as well. And I really like this one particular line where Jimon Honshu, I think it's Jimon Honshu. I'm really sorry if I'm messing up the name, but Jimon Honshu was like, the Coast Guard sent 13 or 11 boats, 11 or 13 boats, and only two of them made out. And it sort of
Yeah,
really
it was 13, I think.
outlines the human greed in a way. Like, of course, if they hadn't caused the chaos and everything just to get on the boat first and
It was
sort
the
of
same in the Titanic as well, if I'm not wrong.
exactly, I agree. I mean, this movie, if anything, it does take a little bit of concept from Last of Us to I Am Legend. It borrows a few concepts, but it makes them work, I would say.
Exactly. The only thing which concerns me is the movie. Well, the whole movie is based on a quiet place, and even if there is a small noise, because I'm sorry for ruining it for you because you've not watched the first one. In
No,
the
no, no.
first one,
I did watch the first part. I
there
did. I
is
was able to
there
catch
is
it
a
on time.
scene where there are like two animals. I think it's skunks or squirrels, and they're going, and even that noise was attracted by the predators, and they killed them.
Mm,
And in the second movie, if I don't know if you noticed, but the woman was making the most noise, which was Emily, played by Emily. The name was Evelyn in the movie. She was
mm,
making a lot of noise, and the whole concept of them without any shoes on to make less noise was cancelled out by Cillian's character because he was wearing shoes, and that's what I was thinking since the start of the movie that even if you wear Converse, it would have made noise. There is no
mm.
noise, and if you're wearing Converse, what's the point of having naked feet?
True that. I mean, it's a little bit of inconsistency, which sort of doesn't take away the whole thing. But I really like just to piggyback off your point. I really like there were some quiet moments in the movie as well, which sort of make you like very scared. For example, that one scene where Emily sort of loses her hearing aid, and all of a sudden the entire movie is just quiet, and for a moment there you actually sort of understand what it's like to not hear anything and be surrounded by a thing that can be attracted with noise.
Yeah.
So it's a very precarious situation to be in, and I personally felt like the anxiety from that particular bit. And I was like, oh
I
geez.
think you're talking about Reagan or Evelyn, the daughter, right?
The daughter, yes.
Yeah,
Her
she's
name is
not Emily.
Emily.
She's Reagan. Reagan.
Oh, geez, I'm messing up the names. Geez, what's
Yeah,
wrong with
yeah.
me? So, then of course the way they counter, the whole deal with I will call them slavers or like thieves, and the whole thing that they just counter with them. Honestly, when he was approaching the little girl who he thought was stranded, I was scared out of my mind. I was like, maybe it's just a small alien girl or like one of those creatures, but they're just intelligent enough to impersonate somebody, I was like, oh no, oh no, no. Like, and then of course it turns out to be something else. But
I just felt a bit of off scenes, which was one which was an off scene was in the first movie. In the ending, we see that a lot of monsters, these predators, were coming towards their home because of the signal whatever the girl made, right? And in the second movie, when the whole sequel starts after the prequel, there is no sign of it, and they're chilling and they're living normal life, which is surprising. And the second point, which was a bit off, was that they're living in Emmett's home and they're ordering him to do stuff, which is like you have to be a bit
which
grateful.
is, yeah, I mean, but the thing is, it's kind of like you have to consider the stakes, because of course there's a
Yeah,
baby, and the baby needs to be nebulized every now and often so that it doesn't start crying. And then of course you have the whole deal where Evelyn herself is not doing really well. I mean, at the end of the day, it starts right off from the from the events of the part one.
yeah.
It's
So
not like a
she's lost
month's
her
break or
husband as
anything.
well.
She's lost her husband, she's lost her kid, and she's obviously going through a lot of things. But then, of course, she has to go to the pharmacy, which is completely understandable, but a very dangerous risk. But I really didn't understand Marcus. Like, Marcus, you are told to stay down there. You know what's going to happen if you get outside. But no, Marcus has to go all Dora the Explorer. I'm like, what? But then, of course, he makes an interesting discovery. Like, Emmett's wife, her corpse is
Yeah,
there. And I was like, oh, snap. Oh, like, oh, okay. Like she never left, and that's probably why Emmett didn't want them to live here. Emmett was like, yeah,
yeah.
you can't stay, otherwise you'll realize I'm probably, just keeping a corpse nearby, for all the reasons that only he knows. I'm very sure you're thinking the same thing as I am. Oh my
I
god.
know. Other than
But we're
that,
not gonna
when they're finding Emmett,
Mhm.
they the predators are behind them, right? And they're following them. And Emmett has a sniper, of course. I mean, she's still carrying the bags. She can just leave the bags and go, and then come back for the bags later. They're not going to eat her food or stuff, right? Which is
Yeah, but
again,
then again, you don't know like how. Of course, you don't know where Emmett's hideout is per se. You're just going towards a building at this point. You don't know anything about his hideout or where it is exactly. And then of course he sort of lures them into his own hideout, and then they get safe. One moment in that particular hideout was when the vault gets locked and the oxygen
yeah,
starts running out. I'm like, oh damn, that, because I'm slightly claustrophobic, very slightly, but that thing was just like, oh okay, no, that is one situation I don't want to be in.
yeah. I mean, that's the part where I said that he's being selfish and he's
Yeah,
taking the baby's oxygen. But again, he's a
yeah.
kid as well, so I
Yeah, I
cut him
mean,
some slack.
it. Yeah, it's kind of like, it was needed. I mean, both of them need the oxygen. So, and the oxygen tank is also running out. So it's either him or the baby. And honestly, in a situation like that, anybody would do what he did. But what I really liked is Marcus finally did get a little bit of character development here, because in the first movie you
Yeah.
can see like he's a total coward. He's a total, like, scaredy cat. But in this one, he sort of takes the initiative a bit, and he ends up delivering the killing blow.
Yes, and that was a good part. I mean, I really thought Cillian's character was gonna die, but it's good
I
he's
thought the
saved.
same. I was just like, I mean, if Lee died in the
No,
first one and then this guy dies, ah man, I really, if there's a part number 3 that's going to happen, because the ending was left quite open ended, if you think it's the same way
ending was
that the
always
first one.
always open. Yeah, in the first
Yeah.
one as well, in the second one as well. But what I've heard is there is a plan for Paramount to release a new Quiet Place movie, but it won't be directed by John. It would be
Hmm.
directed by Jeff Jeff Nichols. So he's writing and directing the movie. So
Huh.
it's planning to be released in 2023 March. I don't know if it
And
will be a continuation of this or maybe he'll come up with a new plan and a new storyline.
hmm. The thing is that in the world that they have created of the quiet place, there's a lot that you can do. You can go towards the route of another family who's probably facing the same thing, or you can go the route of taking it to space, like where do these beings come from exactly, what's their history.
Because that's left. I don't think going and finding more families makes sense now, because
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, okay, I found two families, now we'll make 10 parts with 10 different families, and that makes no sense.
That doesn't make sense, and plus it kind of creates a lot of expectation from the writers, like, okay, how do you make it different from the first family, what kind of
Yeah.
struggles do they have? So in this sense, of course, you kind of think, okay, where can they go with this? They're probably gonna be like, okay, there's a military tactic now to actively counter these aliens and to take back the land. So of course they study, okay, where did these things come from? And then lo and behold, it turns out to be some secret government project which just went wrong or something. So you never know.
Yeah, but I don't think so.
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean, I'm reaching at
maybe
this
the
point.
story should end here, but let's see what happens.
Yeah. So we're going to move to the scoring part. If you have anything else to add.
No, I think that's it from my end. We'll just move to
Yeah.
the scores.
So I think I gave it 8 out of 10. Of keeping in view the inconsistencies you have mentioned, I gave it an 8 out of 10. I was like, okay, this
That's
was
what
a
I was
good
going for.
thriller.
I've written eight as
Uh,
well.
nice, awesome. I mean, 8 out of 10 because it's a really good watch. You would enjoy it. You would be on the edge of your seat for this. There are, of course, some minor inconsistencies if you have watched the first one. So of course, there's going to be some inconsistencies here and there. But then again, not every movie is perfect. So that's why I docked those two. Otherwise, this would be an easy 10 out of 10. But Cillian Murphy did an awesome job. Emily Blunt, amazing as always, and it was good to see John Krasinski come back for a bit before he's just goes back to directing.
The only
So
thing which they would have made better was to show how this started, because they went to the prequel, but they didn't show how it started. They just showed, okay, they attacked him and then just continue, and that's
yeah,
that's what made it worse. Yeah. So
yeah,
I think that's my points, and along with the small points, that makes a deduction of 1 point from.
I
So
agree.
it will
I
be eight.
agree. So, anyways, but these were our thoughts, guys. Thank you so much for joining us for the review. Let us know in the comment section what did you think about the movie, and what are your predictions for the next movie that is to come. So, until then, we'll see you. Stay safe. Subscribe to our channel. While you're at it, hit the notification button
Bell
as well,
icon.
just to get to know, when our new content comes up. But until then, stay safe and stay quiet. Take care. Bye.